Welcome to the We Ain't Normal podcast, where each week we share the best tools to help neurodiverse moms navigate life so you can enjoy more flow, focus, and freedom to live your best life yet. And now, here's your host, Charmaine Fuller.
Hey ladies, what's up? Welcome back to the We Ain't Normal showcast. Yes, we are a showcast. And our motherhood mindset series, you got to listen to all of it because everybody within this series is fantabulous. Today, I have my girl, Akili Atkinson. Hi, Akili. She is a neurodiversity trainer and a certified life purpose coach and a certified autism specialist. So this is my weird brain friend. She gets it all. She knows about our world. And so I love having her in this space with me. She has over 20 years of experience. She don't look like she got 20 years of experience, but she got it. Akili, thank you so much for joining me. Besides what I've shared, share a little bit about you professionally and personally.
Yeah, I'm going to start with personally because it led to professionally. So personally, I married young, married at 20 years old, going on 21, had my first child at 22, my second one at 24. I married a military man, so immediately started traveling and seeing parts of the world that others don't want to see because my first stop was Alabama. My second stop was Oklahoma. So I'm still trying to sue the U.S. Army, but that's another story. But in those times, I had to focus on my family and figure out how to navigate through travel and everything. So I didn't do much for myself professionally. I was just hanging on by a thread. And then as my son had some challenges, my daughter was a high-level gymnast, and so it required a lot of time. I just didn't think of myself until one day I was like, you know what? I'm curious. So I was really curious about disabilities and how I could be a voice in that arena. So I went and applied for a school that was having their first, it makes me smile because they had their first disability classroom. Wow. Back then it was in a portable. They weren't allowed inside.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got to learn a little bit about what life was like for 4th through 6th graders. But all I could think about is what happens when they get older? Yeah. What happens? And so I tried to change spaces and went into adults with disability. And then I realized, oh my gosh, parents, mothers, who helped them along this journey? Who helped them to figure life out? I was stubbing my toes all along. Who is helping when you have challenges? And so then that made me pivot again and say, we have so many women that need the okay to not be okay.
Exactly. And that's why you and I vibe so well, because that's what I do kind of, sort of as well. Like we're in the same space, but in different spaces of the same space, and getting women to take care of themselves. One of the things that I love, because Akili was in my Special Mom, Special Kids Self-Love Edition Summit. And one of the things that I loved was how you described self-care, helping the women to see that it's not just a glorious spa day where you get to just luxuriate on a table with cucumbers on your eyes and somebody massaging your feet, that it's really a daily practice. And, I heard you allude like what life was like even before you started taking care of you. Like most moms, neurodiverse or not, can relate to my life is their life. What am I supposed to do once they're done with me? Or what am I even supposed to do once I get that babysitter that I've been dreaming of? What do I do with myself? What does that look like? And so digging kind of into things that moms can start doing now that can really begin to help them to take care of themselves in incremental steps versus looking for the big grandiose events that go on. What is self-care to you? I think we kind of touched on it, but break it down to what self-care is and isn't for you and that impact.
So I think that the first thing that I've learned over the years is we need two things. We need a journal, but we don't need anybody to tell. We need someone to tell us about how to journal, because everybody says, get a journal. Okay, I can look at that journal forever. What did you want me to do with this journal?
Wait, so I'm putting my bills in there and everything.
Right? I'm writing notes. I'm writing something from a show I watched. It's like, oh, that wasn't what it was for. So we need the journal, but we need help understanding. Because remember, we go back into that mindset. So then our journal becomes about people other than ourselves.
Yeah.
The second thing on the first page of that journal, you should write the word selfish. And then next to that, write the definition. I am a big believer of going back in time and reading definitions of some of the words we say. Some of the words we say don't actually have anything to do with anything. We're just so used to saying them that those are the words that we use. So I write this down. So selfish, lacking consideration for others, concerned excessively or exclusively for oneself. Now, how is it that you can care for anybody else if you are not fully and wholly oneself, caring for oneself?
Yep.
So if we look at biblical principles, even, I mean, it is God, the man, and the woman, and then the child. If you see the order in which it happens, then our care is pretty high up there, yet we consider it under the animal that we have to feed in the morning.
It's a back burner type of deal. I find in my practice where a lot of women go, I'll do this as soon as I get my kids here, then I'll do this and it's like, but it's going to be something else next time, boo. It's like, you're not going to just go, oh my gosh, I finally got my kids in therapy. Now to be the next thing. Okay, now I have to find this therapist. Now we have to get this OT toy. Now we have to go do this. Okay, now after I get all these pieces together, then I'll take care of myself.
You know what? I agree. But I think we do this kind of intentionally, subconsciously,
yes,
because we are scared to identify what we need. What if it takes too much work? What if they tell me I got to go on medication? What if they tell me I have to go have a spa day every week? I don't have time for that. I don't have the money for that. So if we don't identify any problems with ourselves,
yep,
we really don't have to worry about it. And so we get into the habit. I do this thing about building 24 hours in a day. And our work day normally starts about 6, 7 o'clock if you're lucky in the morning, right? Because we're getting out, we start taking care of kids or spouses or animals, anything. We run that, we get breakfast on the table. There's over 80% of us now in the workforce. So then we go to work all day. Yep. Then we come home, we do a quick dinner. Then we are with the homework and the kids. And then after that, it's now 11 o'clock at night. Now, normally one would assume that that's when you go to bed and get your 8 hours sleep. But that's when our mind starts racing.
About all the stuff that
what did we do? What could we have done better? At what point in time did I just say that we thought about ourselves at all?
So many get out of the bed running. And I used to do that. I would get up and my kids would be at the side of my bed and I would just start tending to them. It left me resentful, like really resentful of being a mom. Like I loved my kids, but I hated that part of it. Like it never felt I had time for me. And you're right. What happens is I was afraid to rediscover who I was, because after you have kids, it wasn't young and poppin' Charmaine anymore. It was a completely different version, and figuring out who that is, like it's scary to figure out who you are. And that's one of the reoccurring themes that definitely you'll notice in this motherhood mindset series is getting uncomfortable to get comfortable to know who you are, and digging into knowing thyself. Like, sometimes people think, oh my God, that's like one of those woo-woo type of statements. It's a for real thing, right? It's a for real thing to really say, what do I like? What's my favorite color?
What's my favorite? I didn't know my favorite color. I thought I knew it. I was married for 21 years. I got divorced when I was 42. And I didn't know. I knew my husband's social security number by heart because, of course, he was military. I knew all of my kids' records. I knew their favorite colors and what they liked. Somebody asked me my favorite color, and I said black or brown because that's what I wear. And I met this guy who said, he was talking about if I was going to date. He said, Chad, if you're going to get on the dating scene, you need some color and life in you. You about as dead as I don't know what. And I was like, well, okay, but I don't wear color. And he said, well, what's your favorite color? And I said, oh, I said, black and brown. He said, not the color that you wear. What's your favorite color? And there were so many moments after my divorce that I would cry on a dime. But I just started crying. I was like, oh, I don't know this whole time. And it just was the start of saying, I need to find ways to reconnect with me and give myself some validation and say, I'm okay. So fuchsia is my favorite color. I know that now. And I wear it happily. I actually don't wear black or brown anymore unless it's a base color, but he taught me to buy something with color first. And then if you still want the item that is black or brown, then purchase it. But always purchase something with color, with something that's vibrant and gives you life first. And that was hard at first, but it's actually changed my outlook, which is so funny. Something like a piece of clothing can change your outlook, but who has time to investigate all of that and break all of that down?
Especially when you have so much going on. You know, being a neurodiverse mom with neurodiverse kids and that mind going, you have to be able to develop, I think, the tools. You have to have a toolkit, right? And what's in your mindset toolkit? Like, I know what's in mine because I have to find a way to refocus and bring myself back, because I'll go off on a tangent in a minute, child.
So I schedule. Okay. And the basis of that, I also have a calendar that I hold, and I color it, and everything, make it pretty. But always on there is a part for me. So during each day, there is a part for me. So I schedule it. And I then don't get upset when I say to somebody, I don't have the time, not at this particular time. And I look at it every day to say, it's okay to say no to my children, to my friends, to my employer. If it is after hours, don't say no to them and lose your job and come find me. I'm just saying, but it is okay to say to people no and schedule it so you know that, oh, this is my time. I meditate in the morning. So from 6 to 6:30 is my time. That is the time where I need to figure out how my day is going to be structured. Then I'm fortunate, and it wasn't always like that, but I have a 2:00 nap. I have a 2 to 2:30 nap that I take. And, I'm in my 50s now. So it's not like I was always able to nap and like, well, she's napping. No, it's just that something I've always loved to do. I even taught my kids to love it. They love napping. So they would get excited even when they're little, be like, nap time. I was like, yeah, we're going to get this on. And so I had so much fun with it. A little power nap extends my day and my happiness.
Yes.
So I schedule it in. And then when someone says, I want to do something, I'm like, I have this window, but then I have that 2 to 2:30, it's my nap time. So, yeah.
Girl, time blocking is a lifesaver and it's a habit. So if you haven't time blocked before or it feels constrictive to do it, remember, structure equals freedom. It may feel constrictive in the beginning to do it, but as you begin to see, like, your nap times are my transition times. So I really begun to use this fancy little watch my husband got me for those mindfulness bings. And so I set them to times where I know I'm in between work things, right? And I don't take naps all the time, but I do take 3-minute breathing breaks where I go someplace dark in my house or wherever I'm at, and I just kind of sit and I breathe. I don't have any music going. I just sit in silence and I just breathe. And just the vitality that even that offers. So as you see, ladies, there are 2 different ways you can do it. Like if you have space for a nap, if you still have little ones that are napping, I didn't get it until I got it right. Like, dang, I should have took a nap when they was napping, because
Yes.
it doesn't, here's the gag. It doesn't matter if you don't take the break, because you're still going to spend the time. It's actually going to take you longer if you do not take the brain break, especially if you're neurodiverse, because your brain is now working harder to catch up, to come up with the next thought. And giving it that space to breathe, for me, is like angels are like singing at the top of my head and everybody's having a party. Like, it's the best thing ever. And those are moments of self-care, right? Those are things that you do for yourself throughout the day that gives you life. And to me, that's what self-care is about: giving yourself life, saying that you are worthy enough of life, that you are enough to experience that peace there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you kind of have to start to tell yourself that over and over again. I am enough, I'm worthy. And then just bringing it into fruition. So just to say it is one thing, but it does mean that you go and buy yourself a new top. I'm not saying it could be at Goodwill, it could be something, but you're allowing yourself to feel good.
Feel special. We make everybody else feel special, don't we?
Yes, I like one of my first love language is acts of service. And I was like, really? I'm giving. That's what I appreciate. So if you tell me you need, I'm gonna, I was like gonna give. And then what happened was I started giving so much, I was resentful because I wasn't getting it back. That's not what acts of service is. Acts of service is you enjoying doing a service. So there's this fine line between when we like acts of service or when we are just doing service, because that's what we normally do. So about 3 of those hours are acts of service. 10 of those hours is work. And so we have to understand that we are not feeding ourselves just because we cooked breakfast and then we made the lunches and we sent them away and then we had dinner ready and then we washed a load of clothes and vacuumed all before we went to bed. So, because I don't think the president ever knocked on my door and said, wow, that was a lot. Right. Never. So where are my kudos if they're not coming for me to do it? So I don't need, my validation comes from my acceptance of myself, not the tons and tons of work that I do. Because like you were saying, it would always search for something else. If I make $100,000, I want to make $200,000 because then I can help my kids more and I can put them in private school and then I can do this. Oh, wait a minute. If I work 10 more hours, then I can make $250,000. And now I can buy a bigger house. And there is no stopping until we say, $100,000. I don't know if that's going to be good for my time. Right. I don't know if that's going to be good for my spirit. I know it's going to be good for my pocketbook. I know I'll appreciate it, but I don't think it works for all of me. So what does that mean? What's next? And these are hard things to do.
Yeah, that's a huge act of self-care. Is that energy management.
Yes.
That is a lifelong process. Like, that is still something that I am actively learning and revectoring, and it's just that energy management, because like you, I love to give. And so if I'm not careful, I'll try to squeeze something in somewhere and then I'll get there and I'll be like, shit.
I want to do this and I'm tired.
And it's like, I'm always good. It's happening less and less, but then I'll get this week where I look at my calendar. I'm like, who planned this?
What was I thinking? Yeah.
Saying Charmaine that.
What am I supposed to do now? Where's that 5 minutes I need back? Where are those?
Oh, wait, let me see what I can cancel and move.
Right?
Oh my God, Akili, this was awesome. So if you had to share your most life-changing self-care tip, life tip, whatever, the thing that changed your life the most, what would that be?
Yeah, so I will say that getting divorced was probably the thing that changed my life most and made me evaluate myself. This can be done inside a marriage, be done earlier. For me, it was later. And then doing that, I started giving myself challenges. So I do large challenges every year. So one of the challenges to do a 5K. Doing is different than running. Doing means getting to the end. So I've stopped giving myself these assignments of greatness in the vision of somebody else. So now the assignments are my own fulfillment. So I want to make sure I can still get to the finish line. And then the other thing that I do is one event a year that makes me uncomfortable. Oh. Reminding myself that I can get uncomfortable. So I have jumped out of a plane on my 50th birthday. I did a comedy routine for my 52nd birthday on an open mic night. So every year I give myself challenges that get my heart beating again. Makes me feel kind of like a kid and say, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I don't know if I can do it. These are not something that everybody can do, but you can do something where you're solely thinking about yourself. I don't care if you're teaching yourself how to do manicure so you don't have to go. You are just solely doing something that will make you smile. It has nothing to do with your kids, nothing to do with your spouse, nothing to do with your best friend, and maybe I'll take her with me. It's all about you. From the smallest thing to the largest thing, what do I do for me? And so once I learned that, self-care has become a lot easier because I will drive to an event and go, nope, mood's changed. I'm not going. Now I won't drive because it's too expensive for gas, but I would drive and turn around and say, no, my essence says, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And so my priority is me. And when I prioritize me, everyone around me benefits.
Yes. Selfish not only benefits you, it benefits everybody around you. So I'm going to ask some kind of rapid fire, not have anything to do with this because I like fun stuff. What are you watching on TV right now?
Oh, so I'm I don't know. I think like I'm a nerd right now. I'm watching documentaries. Any and every documentary I can watch. I don't know what it is right now, but it's fascinating my brain. So I will, I watched 13th, which is about the 13th Amendment.
Yeah.
It was really, really fascinating. I got into that. And
so it sounds like you were kind of like me. Like I'm the girl that I'll go into a bar and I'm going to sit at the bar and I'm going to watch all the people come in and I'm going to sit and just sip on my drink, just sip because I don't want to get drunk, but I want to watch and see how you come in and how you leave out. Like I'll just sit there and go, Yep.
Now, do you do this? I make stories about them.
Yes.
This one's about to do this, and I'm sure that this one, look at how he walked in. He's got a little swagger. I think he's going to go try for that one over there. And I wonder how that's going to go and how, put his shoulders back. Come on, you can do, I will run stories through my head and just giggle and just
I entertain myself a lot. This has been so awesome as usual. Akili, tell them where they can find you in these internet streets. It'll also be in the show notes, but I want you to say it, girl.
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Akili's Corner. And let me just say really quick, Akili's Corner is because we all have a little corner, a piece of this world. And sometimes we need to go in there, take a friend with you, sit down and have a conversation. Yes. So Akili's Corner is a safe space to be. And it's located on Facebook, also on Instagram, LinkedIn, all your locals. And then, of course, it's www.akiliscorner.com. So find me, look me up. It's great always to have conversations about how, especially as women, we can navigate through this whole process without feeling like we're alone.
And that we have to do it all alone. Because sometimes we know we're not alone, but we like, okay, I need to have this right and this right and this right, and then I can get some help. It's like, just go get the help, girl.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget the series continues, and to make sure if you're watching us on YouTube to subscribe and get the notifications, as well as if you're in podcast land, make sure you sign up for my podcast newsletter so that you can know when all of the series drops. So thanks so much, Akili. Thanks so much for joining us with the We Ain't Normal podcast, because we ain't normal. And we will see you all later. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of the We Ain't Normal showcast. I want to make sure that you stay in the loop, that you get all of the bonuses that go beyond each show, and that you're notified whenever each new show drops. So I want you to sign up for the We Ain't Normal show newsletter. Go to weaintnormal.show to sign up for that newsletter today. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can know each time an episode drops. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting platform, be sure to add us to your library, download the show, as well as leave reviews. Remember to stay weird, and I'll catch you next episode.